All right, everybody, welcome back to yet another week here on the podcast on the Pattison Report. I'm Philly Brandon. That's Ryan Prose, the fantasy football expert himself. Before we get any further into it, we want to give Ryan a quick shout out for being invited yet again to probably the most prestigious fantasy football showdown, the Scotch Fish Bowl. I mean, I
Yep.
can't think of one any bigger than that.
There is none bigger, and it's all for a great cause. It's all for charity, and it's always fun competing with all your buddies in the fantasy football space, but it's even better competing for a great cause. So I love it. I love the whole purpose of it. Everyone getting together and coming out for a great cause.
And this is year three now. So I mean, you got your shot. You proved yourself worthy, and then it seems like now it'll be a yearly invite. One would hope, right?
I was a buzzer beater this year. I'm just thankful to get in. I replaced someone this year. I was a last second replacement, which I'm okay with. Not getting in again. Like it's one of those things where I've experienced it. It's great. I've had a talk with my friends a couple of times about this that are in it. I'd rather my invite go to someone who is getting in for the first time and gets to experience what I felt a couple of years back. Like if I never made it again and I knew my invite was always going out to a first timer, I wouldn't care, honestly.
So I know. I mean, I know this. The Scotch Fish Bowl is a little bit of a like a club kind of thing. Like once you're inside the walls, there's stuff that people outside the walls don't necessarily know. Are you able to kind of explain how you qualify for Scotch Fish Bowl or what the acceptance process is like?
I mean, you just got to sign up with their email, and I hope you get in. Honestly, I was lucky enough. I think I talked to Scott 2 years ago in a what was it, Clubhouse. That's not how I got in, but I learned about how the process kind of works. He was talking about it. He's an awesome dude. If you don't know Scott Fish, then I mean I don't personally know Scott Fish, but like
Yeah.
he's a really cool dude from what I've seen and what I've heard. He tries his best every year, and like this man is crazy because he keeps upping the stakes every year. There's
Mhm.
more people at it. I think he felt bad this year. I think it was one of his tweets. So he added a whole like two other divisions and just invited 24 more people.
But is it so? I guess it would be like credential based, though, in a sense, right? Like, I mean, you're obviously like
Not really.
you're pretty deep into the fantasy football side of things. So, like, there are people in fantasy football circles who kind of know who you are. I mean, would it be like you would have? Let's say you and I both applied for, like, both submitted an application or whatever. I mean, you would have a much better chance of getting in over myself because I don't have the presence in the fantasy football world.
I don't think it matters. If I'm going to be quite honest with
Really?
you. I
Okay.
don't. It's not one of those things. It's whoever gets in kind of deal. Like
Okay.
of course certain people get in every year, which they deserve their invites. Of course, I'm not saying they don't because they're awesome people. Everyone that competes in this is awesome. But yeah, I feel like it's an equal chance, equal draw. He gives everyone a fair shot, and like doesn't matter how deep you are into the fantasy space,
Oh, okay.
which makes it awesome. So because like anyone could get in any given year.
Well, we'll be sure to keep up on that as you kind of progress through the league. I know we got a little ways to go before fantasy really becomes. I mean, drafts are going to be probably mid to late
August.
August, so
Yep.
we'll get into that in probably about a month or so. But in the meantime, we have more Philadelphia
I hear
stars
it's coming.
who are looking to kind of act as fantasy owners and make their own moves and decide where they play. And we're used to some guys being like that. We've seen Ben force his way out. We're going to get to Harden after this, but the constant's always been Joel Embiid I don't think he has many flaws, but for the ones that you can pick out, he's never been anything other than completely 10 toes down in Philadelphia. Like, he goes to the Jersey Shore. People see him and his wife out walking the baby in town. Like, he was all the way in. And then, oddly enough, I mean, look, of all the seasons to kind of make the comment that he did, I didn't think this was the one. And he was doing an interview where he said, "Look, I want to win a championship, whether that's in Philly or somewhere else." And I put this out on Twitter, and no one really contradicted me. I think that's the first time Embiid's even mentioned somewhere else.
Yeah.
So to say that put the whole city on notice would be an understatement. How did you take it?
I mean, it's at the same time he's like a top level troll.
He is, but and look, if that's what it is, I might be more angry if that was a
He's
troll job.
he's irritated by the Philly fans, so I don't blame him. He's irritated by us.
And I
I
get
think
it. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, he has a lot of reasons to be irritated. And like I said, any other season, I'd be like, yeah, he deserves better. But the fact that, in game 6 and game 7, he just came up small, it makes it hard for me this season to go, yeah, he gave us all he had and it wasn't enough. Last year, playing on last year for sure, year before playing on the torn LCL, you know, he should have been disgruntled then. I have a hard time swallowing it this year.
yeah, maybe this was just the one that sent him over the edge. Maybe he was building up to that point with the LCL and everything, and then this one just like, okay, Harden wants to go, I want to go, like kind of deal.
That is part of it. We're going to get to Harden as our next topic, but I think Harden's absolutely part of it, and I think on the flip side, I mean, he has every right to be angry at Daryl Morey, as I think the whole fan base does. He waited the whole offseason out in hopes of making a Tobias trade and or a Harden trade. And it looks like he might not get either. And now we've let George Niang walk, presumably to save cap. We let Jalen McDaniels walk again, cap. God, who else am I missing? Shake Milton was always going to leave. He wanted a bigger opportunity somewhere else. But, I mean, we've made all these moves to keep cap space open to acquire stars. And he's going to swing and miss on every star in the market. So, I mean, Embiid's looking at a team next year with no depth and top end talent who doesn't really want to be there. So, I mean, if he's looking at the roster and he's annoyed, I kind of get that.
Yeah. I mean, Tobias he's gonna be a free agent. We're gonna let him walk. Like,
Yeah.
If Harden stays another year somehow, he's gonna walk. Then it's just Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, and like, nothing.
And see, I'm the other way. I love that team. I think it needs another piece. Don't get me wrong; they're not enough together. But I think Tyrese and Joel, you get closer to what the NBA's turned into, which is high scoring wings. I mean, that's really the Denver setup. I'm not saying Tyrese Maxey is Jamal Murray yet. But Jamal Murray is not really a traditional point guard. He's a scoring point guard. So you have him in place, and you have Jokic and Embiid are really 1A, 1B, with Jokic being 1A. I'll admit that. But their thing is they have great wing play. Bruce Brown was a huge contributor. Aaron Gordon, huge contributor. Michael Porter Jr. had a great playoff run. Like, they have great wings. That's the format. So if you're the Sixers and you end up, let's say this season's a punt, which it looks like it's going to be. You go into the 2024 offseason with just Maxey and Embiid on the books. Maybe you go out and just you spend whatever it takes to get the best wings on the market. Maybe that's the path forward. I'm not sure.
I don't know what the path forward is. I mean, the draft is kind of weak, and I don't know how free agency's looking.
I don't know when we drafted into, to be completely honest. We gave Brooklyn a lot of firsts.
True, and it almost worked out. It was this close. We almost had it, but alas, here we are.
Alas, tis not.
I mean, maybe Pascal Siakam. Maybe if we lure him to Philly, I don't know. Like,
he's a strange situation. I don't know if you've been following that at all. Toronto's trying to trade him, and he said, "I will not play for another franchise." So he's doing a reverse Harden.
Good for him.
I mean, he's more valuable there than he will be anywhere else. Let's be honest. I think Pascal Siakam is the Tobias Harris effect 2.0. I think he leaves Toronto and comes to a team with two other stars. He's probably the third option.
He will get Kevin loved.
Yeah, Kevin. Yeah, exact same thing. Kevin Love. What was it? Kevin Love in Cleveland. Tobias Harris here. Where Kevin Love in Minnesota before he moved. Anyway,
Kevin Love in Minnesota
he was a problem.
He was a big problem.
But he was big fish, small pond.
Pretty much.
And I think Siakam's the same way. I think he's great on a pretty untalented, I shouldn't say untalented. On a raw.
Yeah, I mean, he won a ring, dude.
No,
Don't forget.
I'm not saying he's untalented. I'm saying
I get it.
he
I get it. The
looks
team's not.
great on a team with a lot of up and coming guys.
I remember his game 1 of the NBA Finals, and that'll always stick out to me. He did something crazy. I don't remember what it was exactly, but I know he scored a lot of points in DraftKings fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, he gave him another option behind Kawhi, which no one going into the postseason really thought they had.
Yeah, that was a team of destiny. Sadly,
I know, and that's never us. And we seem destined to lose every star that we've ever traded for. And, Joel Embiid we drafted, of course, same with Tyrese Maxey. But I think I would say if you asked me 2 weeks ago, if Harden's going to come back and they're going to smooth it over, we were fresh off the white party. He was partying with Tobias, Tyrese, Joel. Obviously, Josh Harris is the one who throws. No, Michael Rubin throws the white party. So everything just seemed copacetic. And since that time, he has said over and over again, I will not go anywhere but LA, and I do not want to play for the Sixers. So I don't think that is going to change anytime soon. And LA has no reason to offer us Terrence Mann, Norman Powell, Bones Highland, or any of those guys because there's no market for James Harden other than them. So, I mean, is this just round 2 of us getting bent over a barrel in the beginning of the season?
It's looking like that way. I mean, the Clippers have no reason to give anybody. I mean, I feel like this is all gonna come back in the next. Is the next CBA coming up soon? I feel like it is.
No, they just signed this one.
They just signed this one. Oh, I feel like the.
I think we got 4 more years.
The owners are gonna want to push back on this one. Of what these guys are doing, what Damian Lillard and James Harden are doing. They're like, trade me here or trade me nowhere.
I think you hit the nail on the head. And I thought the league was, because I get the player empowerment thing, and I thought the league was pretty fair about staying out of trade requests. Like you can request a trade anymore, and teams are likely to kind of make it happen because it benefits them. This has gone too far. You don't get to choose where you get traded, and you don't have a no trade clause. So essentially now, if you're a star, everyone has a no trade clause because you'll just say, okay, that's great. Trade me there. I'm not going to play. That they need to work out somehow.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it, but it's got to come to a resolution.
I don't know what that looks like.
I don't know what that looks like either. That's
something for
that's something for the in-depth NBA people to handle, like extremely in with the salary cap, the numbers, the CBA, how it's written, how it's formatted, like people who study that stuff, kind of deal. It's not for it. I don't know. I don't know how you solve this problem because you can't be like, hey, you can't request a trade. Then they'll just sit on the bench for their own team, and then, I mean, maybe you could do that. Maybe you could deny the request and start finding them if they don't play, but that feels like a little much. But I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, the fine would have to be to such a degree because the guys people, and I'm gonna throw George Niang under the bus, but I love George, but George Niang can't request a trade because teams know he can't sit out for the year. He needs no one really living paycheck to paycheck, but George needs that money a little bit. Whereas, James Harden, Damian Lillard, they're on max deals. They've made ungodly amounts of money. If they want to sit for a season, they'll sit for a season. So the fine has to be such to the point where those guys notice it. And, and they're not able to sue like Ben Simmons did and get $20 million of it back. They got to close that loophole somehow. But again, 4 years. So it's going to be like this for quite a while. And for all I know, we could be back in this next summer with the big guy if this season doesn't go the way he wants it to or we want it to. So,
man, imagine if you just said, trade me, I don't know where you go. Trade me to the Knicks or I'm not playing kind of deal.
I think that would ruin about as much goodwill as any Sixer I can remember has ever had in this town. I mean, there's been fan favorites like TJ McConnell, Rocco, whatever.
Shake Milton, we miss you.
Yeah, Shake Milton. But Joel Embiid was like a symbol of hope for an entire franchise. The city embraced him. He could really do no wrong for a very long time. So, I mean, if he were to do that, it would be on par with what Dame's doing to Portland. It would be that level of love to hate. And I really hope he doesn't, because even if he wants to leave, I almost understand, because we've wasted his prime in this town.
Yeah.
Just don't do it like that.
Just be like, I need to go. Sorry, thanks for everything. Bye, kind of deal.
Yeah, request a trade. Send me to one of these 8 teams. I really do think at that point Philly might actually get over it, because a lot of the fans see it the same way. I mean, everyone knows that we've done a disservice to this generational talent, which is what we tend to do.
Only the Sixers, though, feels like at this point.
Yeah, the Flyers have wasted some really good young guys.
True.
But you're right. The Phillies and the Eagles actually do a very good job of developing talent lately, which I never thought I would say. Speaking of the Phillies and speaking of generational talent, Joe Giglio is back at it again. I feel like I hate talking about this guy. I really do. But he says things that make me have to address it. And I don't know if you saw his mock lineup with Shohei Ohtani in it. And I
haven't seen that one.
Oh my God, it was the current roster just with Shohei. And so many people asked, they're like, Joe, who are you giving up to get this guy? Well, I think and he wanted to give up, it was Painter, Abel, Crawford, and what was it? De La Cruz? I have to see. It was 5 guys out of the top 10 Phillies prospect list. An absurd move.
If you could guarantee me Shohei was signing like a 10-year deal, I'd do it.
That's the other thing. He said that package is worth the rental because you get a World Series. We did this already in 2008, 2009 to assemble the 4 aces, which was awesome. They gutted the franchise, and then we sucked for 11 seasons. We don't need to do that again.
I thought you were going to bring up the one with Soto, because he did it.
That we're getting there. Don't you worry. We're getting there.
Okay, we're getting there.
This was just the Soto one is a little bit kind of in play. This was just one of those not learning from our mistakes, or I don't think he watches baseball, but this team was 2 wins away from a World Series last year. You do not need to mortgage the future of the franchise to win a World Series. You're not that big of a splash away.
You added Trey Turner to a team that was 2 games away from winning the World Series. That was the splash.
Yeah, like
we don't need another one.
I know we're a wild card team right now, and they got off to a slow start, but you got to figure, I mean, Bryce Harper was hurt the first half of the season. That was never going to be easy. Reese Hoskins, we lost for the whole season. No one saw that coming. Andrew Painter was supposed to be the 5th starter. We'll never see him until, probably 2025, maybe. So, I mean, a lot of things went wrong, and this team is still a wild card team. So they can make a run without giving up. We found a good farm system without giving up 2 of the top 10 pitchers in the MLB farm system right now, and Andrew Painter and Mick Abel. And Crawford looks like he is going to be really, really special. So I don't see a need to move those kind of guys. Now, you brought up Soto because he flew back with the team after Seattle. And there's been a buzz about, maybe he's unhappy in San Diego. The team kind of sucks. Maybe he comes over here. It's a little bit more likely, but I still don't see it happening. I mean, am I just being pessimistic, or where do you land on the Soto to Philly train?
I'm out.
You don't think it's happening?
I don't think it's happening, and I kind of don't want it to happen because I saw a lot of people blasting his effort.
Mm-hmm. He is lazy.
They were scouting. They were the people of Philly were semi-scouting this series, and they did not like what they see. And I will trust the people of Philadelphia, and I would not like Juan Soto in this environment, honestly.
I mean, we saw it in San Diego. The dude can rake. He's an incredible hitter with a great eye. He has no interest in playing the outfield whatsoever, which would be one thing if we didn't already employ Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, what does he hit, like 180 with like 40 home runs?
Schwarber's hitting 189 as of today with 26 homers.
Feels like 40. Every hit's a home run.
Because he's gotten hot lately, because you put him back in the leadoff spot. He hits better leadoff, and it's bizarre, and it's not natural. But
We'll never get
I
it.
will say, for Kyle Schwarber, he's a horrible left fielder. Just objectively very, very bad in the field. That dude tries so hard. Like, he had a great catch the other day jumping into the wall. He hustles. I'm not saying he's good, but he gives you a lot of effort. Juan Soto just doesn't give you that same effort. And if you do bring him in, then you're guaranteeing left field is going to be a defensive liability. Whereas if you stand pat, move Bryce to first, move Schwarber to the DH, all of a sudden your outfield is a very competent Nick Castellanos in right, Brandon Marsh, who's a very good fielding center fielder, and then all of a sudden left field becomes, when healthy, Christian Pache or Rojas, both of which are plus fielders. So all of a sudden you have a really well-rounded defense. If you bring in Soto, then you're back to just having a strong center fielder and some liabilities on the wings.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if you said Juan Soto was going to come here and give 100% effort, I'd be like, okay, I consider it, because, you know, if Rhys Hoskins somehow comes back, if we make it so far that he comes back somehow, like that middle of the order would be so nasty, dude.
I mean, realistically, it would be Schwarber, Turner, probably Bryce third, Soto, Castellanos, and then it's not even just the middle of the order. If you go Soto, Castellanos, I would personally like to see Bohm, because JT has just not been good at the plate this year. Bohm, JT, Stott, who's hitting over 300. And then Brandon Marsh, who's hitting 285. I mean, there's no weakness. And probably the weakest link in that lineup might be JT Realmuto, who's going to figure it out eventually.
Mm-hmm. He's too good not to.
Yeah, and he gets hot later in the season. He always has. I mean, he's taken a little bit longer this year than he has previously, but I mean, he always figures it out. But if you're looking at the lineup and your worst hitter is JT Realmuto, that is a really dangerous thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
I think the issue with Juan Soto, for one, people look over the fact that he's making nearly $400 million. And then what it's going to cost you to get him. Probably going to have to give up, I would assume, one of your pitchers. And if I'm San Diego, especially given the fact that Andrew Painter just found out he's going through Tommy John, they're going to want Mick Abel.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're the Phillies, you're losing one of your two diamonds in the farm system again. I'm with you. I don't think we do it.
No, there's no shot that we do. I mean, it's just one of those things where we finally got a good farm system, and now it's like, let's tear it down again for no reason.
Yeah, we finally have assets.
Go get a fifth starter. Don't give up one of the top guys. Go get someone okay and see if hopefully it pans out. That's where I'm at. That's where I've been, honestly.
Me too. I don't. Some people have been talking about going to get Tommy Pham. And that's a great. I should shout it out. It's a great account that did. His name's Alex Carr, and he's one of the best Phillies follows around. But I asked him. I didn't get a straight answer, but I asked him, like, look, Tommy Pham's a very good hitter. We went from not really having a lot of outfielders to just drowning in outfield talent. I mean, you got Castellanos, you got Marsh, you got Pache, who's really turning it around, and then Rojas looks like he's MLB ready. So whose growth are we going to stunt to go bring in another outfielder when there is a glaring hole at first base? Derek Hall ain't it. I don't know what happened to the magic that he found last season. He is not the answer. Ellis, not the answer. I hate putting Bohm over there because he's such a good third baseman now. I don't know if you watched the game today, but no. He was a defensive replacement for God damn it, I'm blanking on his name. Sosa. They started Sosa at third. He's a great defender. He had an error, moved Hall to first, Bohm to third. Bohm threw out an infield. It would have been an infield hit to anybody else. Bohm from left field threw him out of first. It was a beautiful play. So you almost don't want to pull him off a third. So I still think you got to go get a power bat at first base, and you can't count on Reese coming back in time.
Nah, I mean, aren't they going to put Harper there?
Well, that's the thing. They're going to try, but he's never played first base. I think we're putting a lot of faith into a guy he's superhuman. Don't get me wrong. I'm never doubting Bryce Harper, but he's never played first base. His first time at the position will be at the big league level. Not enough people are talking about how hard that's going to be.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard, but he's him, so I don't doubt him. But like, I haven't seen many first basemen floated out there besides Paul Goldschmidt, who keeps somehow landing in Phillies mock trades.
Again, how are we getting? That was the same time him and Nolan Arenado were both listed as potential Phillies. Look, I would love that to happen. Please come on over. I'm getting a little tired of every Phillies mock trade being the best player on this team. Like, realistically, we're probably looking at a middle-of-the-road first baseman for a couple future picks and a catcher in Double-A, and that's fine. It doesn't have to be Paul Goldschmidt. Go get me somebody who can hit 230 and 20 bombs. That's all I want.
Yeah. Oh, now we're linked to a Cy Young winner at the trade deadline. I didn't know that. Oh, Blake Snell.
Again, it doesn't have to be.
Have you seen Blake Snell's numbers with Gary Sanchez?
No.
Oh my God, he has like a .76 ERA since Gary Sanchez started catching for him. He's ridiculous.
And Gary Sanchez isn't. I mean, he's not renowned as a great catcher.
No, he's not. No, he's a power bat.
Huh. That is interesting. Well, I mean, JT is we're not getting Blake Snell. I'm not falling into this trap. This is ridiculous. We're gonna get a fourth or fifth starter from somebody.
I'm looking at rumors, and I saw Angel Slugger. I'm like, don't do this article. It was Hunter Renfroe, which I think he could play first. If I don't.
Isn't he also an outfielder?
He's also an outfielder, but I feel like he has experience at first.
Yeah, I mean anything at this point. What happened to? I mean, I'm going to sound like an idiot if it's obvious. What happened to Cody Clemens?
I don't know.
I thought he did a very good job up at the pro level. I right now I prefer him to Derek Hall, or Ellis personally.
I definitely agree. Is he back down? Did they send him back down?
If they did, I mean that's incredibly annoying. Okay, here we go. Wow, this is old. Never mind. That's outdated. That's from March. All right, let's see what the Fanatic had to say, and then we'll close out with. I want to get your opinion on Dallas Goedert because he's been in the news a little bit lately for all good things. Here we go. In-house. Okay, so CJ Cron, we've been tied to all season. Expiring deal. He hit 29 home runs last year. Doesn't hit for average. Really, wow, at all.
I like it, but those numbers are inflated because he plays at Coors.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, the home and away splits are terrifying.
Yeah, but they gave away.
He was hitting 240.
So like, they gave away Arenado, so they'll definitely give away CJ Cron.
Yeah, he might be a couple like I said, a couple Double-A projects.
I'll take CJ. I'll take the gamble on CJ Cron any day for a couple Double-A guys.
True. Yeah, because the rest of these are pretty rough. I mean, Jesus Aguilar is one. He's pretty much exactly what I said. He's 235 hitter, 16 bombs. He's really not a good fielder though. I've seen him play enough when he was a Marlin, and he is a really, 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 really bad first baseman. So I don't know if he moves the needle at all. Reese wasn't a good one, but he was serviceable. Jesus Aguilar is really bad over there. So I don't know what the answer is, but it's not on the roster right now. And before we go getting all excited about getting Juan Soto or Shohei Ohtani or Nolan Arenado, can we get a first baseman? Just give me like a C- first baseman. That's all I ask.
C-. Yeah, I'll take it.
That'd be good enough for me. But all right, like I said,
who aren't we linked to at this point?
That's the thing. That's my beef. It's every star.
Oh no, I'm reading about like Adam Duvall, which I'm here for because I rake with that guy on the MLB The Show. So that's besides the point.
I gotta get the new show. I'm still on 2021. Is the new one as good as they're saying?
I put it down, but I was playing it. I enjoy it for Game
Okay.
Pass. I enjoy it.
Okay, I saw the new one. It's been out for 6 months, but I got to get on that. That's my favorite video game. I think they do it the best. It's better than Madden. I don't think 2K is that great anymore. The show just nails it.
Yeah, they're the best, and now we won't be getting a college football game, so like I have to play the show because I'm not gonna have anything to look forward to.
Well, they might still move forward with the college football game. The last I heard was it's going to be a lot like the old ones, where instead of names, they're going to be made up names. Which
Yeah,
I
but
don't care.
someone out there is going to make up a roster. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm saying, give me the fake names. Look, I don't know how you play it. I play like the dynasty thing. Within 4 years, they're fake names anyway.
Yeah, well, you just need to let someone cook for like a week after the game comes out, and you'll be like, then they'll have full rosters ready because people are insane.
Oh, especially dude, they've been waiting for this game since what was the last one? 2014, I think.
2014. We're coming up on 10 years.
Yeah, so it's some nerd who I'm going to call them a nerd, but I love them for it. They're going to grind in their basement and put together all of college football and release the roster.
I will thank him endlessly for it. I will. It's gonna be a great day, but yeah, give me the wild names. I don't care.
Yeah, I just want the game back, dude. I want to take like Brown University to the college football playoff again. Those are the best times.
The college football playoff wasn't even a thing when the last game was out, too. So
yeah, it was the BCS at that point.
Oh my god, bring it back,
I know,
please.
I
beg.
We didn't do any Eagles last week, and I wanted to make sure we got to it this week because you and I are both, diehard football fans. Almost, it's on par with the Sixers for me. And, Dallas Goedert did an email. Well, we talked a little bit about Dallas Goedert last week because he did the whole "do we ever go to the moon" thing. But I've been seeing a lot of pundits, a lot of Philadelphia sports media people talking about, he could make the leap this year into like top 3 tight end category. I think that's entirely possible. I think the talent's there. The only reason I don't think he'll do it is because this team is so loaded on offense that he's going to have to share touches with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and all of a sudden a very loaded running game. And he seems fine with it. They said, what are the expectations? What do you want for yourself? Do you see yourself as a top-tier tight end? And he seems just ready to kind of fill whatever kind of void is needed. But what are you expecting out of Dallas Goedert this season?
So I take it you haven't seen the ESPN list where the executive coaches and scouts and players and all those guys rank their top 10 at the position?
I have, but I haven't seen the tight end one.
Dallas Goedert was 4 overall.
Really? Okay.
Here's what came as a shock to me. Like, I love Dallas Goedert, but this is ridiculous. Someone put him at number 1.
That had to be like an Eagles staff member.
I thought it was. I was like a teammate ? Like,
it's gotta be. But
like, that's insane. But yeah, he does everything, and I think he is. I don't know if he's underappreciated as an Eagle. I kind of think he is. Because you think of the Eagles, you don't think of Dallas Goedert. You think of Devontae Smith, you think of A.J. Brown, you think of Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
But and then you think of the line. Like, Dallas Goedert's like, no offense, because I love the man, because he's awesome. But he's like one of the last people I think about in this Eagles offense. Like, I go through the main wide receivers, and then I go through the line. Like,
I think DeAndre Swift might clear him right now as far as excitement level.
I don't know. I don't know where I'm at on that. I'm so excited, but at the same time, like, I don't know. If he plays anything like his college tape, oh my gosh, we're gonna be unstoppable. But
we'll have to remember, we'll have to get into running backs next week and see how, because that is the biggest topic I think around the Eagles right now is that running back room.
How he's doing it right.
Yeah, well, running back by committee, and we're paying them all the league minimum, which I'm conflicted on because I do think we've hit a breaking point on the running back position to where their fair market value is so criminally low.
Oh yeah,
that something's going to have to be done, I think, pretty soon.
They got a group chat. They got a group text.
Yeah, but I mean, look, unless they all decide to hold out and go on strike, it's not going to do anything. I actually didn't think Saquon's offer was really that bad. The fact, I mean, the Giants were going to pay him $11 million a year with $22 million overall guaranteed. I think that's a really good deal for a running back. Guys like Josh Jacobs have a much bigger gripe where they're getting either the franchise tag or looking at minimum offers. He has a right to be angry. I think Saquon's a little bit out of line on this one.
I think Jacobs has a right to be mad. He got his 5th-year option declined. He went out and had a career year, 1,600 yards, 2,000 yards from scrimmage, so many touchdowns. It was over 12 or 12. I think it was 12. Might have been 12 plus receiving touchdowns. And they're like, we don't want to pay you.
Yeah.
Like that.
And there's nothing more to do.
Tony Pollard, I think, has a big gripe too. Like that man showed out this year.
He did. I'm not. They all have a gripe. I mean,
they do.
Austin Eckler had a really great point. They asked him about it, and when he was negotiating his contract with the Chargers, other teams were looking to trade for him, and he was like, "Look, I welcome a trade. Move me, whatever." And the Chargers were asking for like a first and multiple second, which is a really big haul for a running back.
It's a big haul for anyone.
It is. So Austin Eckler was a great back.
Touchdown machine.
Yeah, but rightfully he was saying, look, if you think I'm worth a first and multiple seconds, how am I not worth more than this little ass deal you're on? Like, you clearly value me, just not monetarily. And I think that's the issue. That, you need a good running back to win. I don't care what anybody says. The issue is you can get a good running back very cheaply. And a lot of teams are doing it, us included. I don't think we're paying a single running back over the minimum.
I think Boston Scott's making a little bit over the min.
Well, but that might be his minimum because of time in the league.
True, yeah. He's also getting that good money playing Rocket League as a pro, probably. So,
and dude, he's one of the more fascinating Eagles we've had in quite a while.
He really is, though. He's
very.
He's a guy. He's a guy I'd like to go to the bar and get a drink with, honestly, and just talk about like everything, like. How do you manage like being a competitive Rocket League player on top of being a Philadelphia Eagle? Like,
is he our highest paid running back?
I think so.
That has to be because his vet minimum is so high. Howie's too smart of a guy to give Boston Scott the biggest deal in that running back room.
He wants to guarantee 2 wins a year. I don't blame him.
Yeah, he is a giant killer. But all right, we're definitely doing that next week. I'll remind myself. You try to remember too. We're definitely going to get into the running back room. I forgot how fascinating of a topic that was.
Very.
We are we're 7 over the episode. We're at 37:50 at the moment. A little bit of bonus content for you guys this week, but I forgot to look at the clock. That's on me. This has been the Patterson Report. I'm Brandon. That's Ryan. See you next week. Eagles running back room breakdown. Don't miss it. Peace.